E4 Media proudly brings to you E4 Sports. Sports through the eyes of veterans. Welcome, my E4 Mafia. This is E4 Sports. Sports through the eyes of veterans. And we are in week 4 of the NFL season for 2018/2019. Before we get into looking back at Thursday night's game and then looking forward to tomorrow's games, we had some news come out, a new surprise signing come through the NFL this week. And we're not, due to time constraints for this show today, we are not going to go down the rabbit hole of the whole kneeling escapade today, but it does have something to do with that. Phil, this week, the Carolina Panthers signed safety Eric Reid. What do you think about that? I mean, I think it's interesting that he, within 3 weeks last offseason, when he didn't get signed, he automatically jumped onto Kaepernick's collusion case. He didn't even give himself enough time during the offseason. He just jumped on it, which I think hurt him last year. And then all of a sudden, he gets signed out of the blue, he gets signed by the Panthers. But get this, he has not dropped his collusion case. I would think if you're hired by one of the teams, that automatically sends your whole collusion case null and void. Because now there is a team that wants you, so no, there is no collusion. How do you feel about that?
Well, how can you have collusion how can you be concluded against if you just got signed by a team?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's good chance. I don't know that he is going to necessarily play in week 4. I would imagine that he probably plays in week 5. But the Panthers needed a safety, and they went out and signed a safety, and it is Eric Reid. I think he's got a lot more upside than Colin Kaepernick ever will. But as far as the collusion case, I think you can't claim collusion if you just got signed by a team.
I absolutely agree. So I'm hoping to see in the news sometime soon that falls off. There's people talking about that real quick. There are actually fans in San Francisco right now that are now on the opposite bandwagon of Kaepernick, and now they're saying, sign Kaepernick. You've got fans in San Francisco now because Garoppolo went down. They're saying, bring back Kaepernick. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. San Francisco will never bring back Kaepernick. For one, he used them to start everything. He used the fact that he turned down, ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't just released. He turned down an extension. So there's already bad blood there. And then all of a sudden you add in the kneeling.
He also asked for his release.
Exactly.
He said he wanted to be traded or released, and they wound up releasing him.
So there's already bad blood, and then you add in the whole controversy of the kneeling, of the new Nike ad on just how everybody is a fucking snowflake now, and everything offends them. Because honestly, I even said if you put all that stuff behind you, he'd actually be a good quarterback as a backup to Deshaun Watson in the way Deshaun Watson moves. But he screwed himself up with just the collusion thing. I think that's what really got under the owner's skin, is when he decided, hey, I'm going to sue y'all. Y'all are all going to be deliberated in y'all all got to go and talk, and that's what screwed him up. Eric Reid didn't go that far. He just jumped on the collusion. He kept his mouth shut most of the time, and that's what has helped him find his way back into the NFL. It's going to be great. I like it. He's back in. His brother is doing a fantastic job for the Texans, so that was a great pickup. So me and Ferocious Phil thought that the E4 Mafia would like to know that Eric Reid has been signed with the Carolina Panthers.
And if I may, there's just 2 things I'd like to touch on real quick. Des Bryant tweeting out there, and I think this is probably just more a way to keep his name in the news, but he's tweeting he could be signing with a team soon. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
he was replying to another tweet asking him if he was going to sign soon, and he just retweeted soon. So he's looking for. Well, we'll see.
He wants more than $5 million a year. Though.
He needs a job, though.
He wants more than $5 million a year to play. I mean,
look,
the Browns
he deserves
offered him
it.
less than that, and he wouldn't sign.
Here's the thing: he deserves to play, but the problem is he shot himself in the foot. When you got the Baltimore Ravens wanting to give you $20 million. And you decide not to go there, well, you just shot yourself in the foot because now other teams are looking and saying, wait a second. They're willing to give you $20 mil. I think it was a 2-year deal or maybe a 3-year deal. But for 20 mil, and that kind of offense, even though Flacco isn't an elite quarterback, and yes, some Ravens fans are going to say, what do you mean? He won a Super Bowl. No, his defense won a Super Bowl. Flacco has never, ever been in the tier of elite. Eli Manning has been in the tier of elite. His play as of late has kind of made people look differently. But if you average everything out, he has been an elite quarterback for those years he went to the Super Bowl. The year that he upset New England, Flacco has never been that quality.
Well, there are quarterbacks that peak at different points in their career, and I think Eli peaked early.
Yes.
I think his peak is way over. But, I mean, there are other players.
You look at his brother. His brother actually peaked later.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, Peyton was always a high-profile,
he was always elite,
high-quality quarterback. The other thing I want to touch on real quick, Jaguars owner Shad Khan clears the hurdle to buy Wembley Stadium. Is this the beginning of the Jags potentially becoming the first Europe-based NFL team?
I think it is. People in the NFL at the headquarters have talked about how they wanted to have a team overseas over the pond. Here's my problem. And I think here's everybody, players' problems, everybody.
Logistically,
schedule.
It's a nightmare.
What the hell are you doing with the schedule?
Oh, God. And that's the other thing. You got to plan. The thing is,
that means I got to have at least a 2 home game stretch.
Logistically, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And once again, where are the Jags just going to practice in Jacksonville when they come back to the States? When a team goes over to London, they usually always schedule them for their bye week the next week because, the jet lag and everything, it's freaking ridiculous. Not to mention, it takes them almost 2 years just to get everything in place and ready to go to London. I mean, so you really got to plan way ahead when you're going to have to play the Jags at London or over in Europe.
One thing I could say about that is one team being there doesn't work. If you have another team there, it kind of logistically may make more sense because then one team plays both teams in London, and then they come back here.
Or they play London and wherever that other team's based.
Exactly.
Out of,
so then they're there.
Whatever.
Then they're there, and then the rest of the season they don't have to worry about doing all that. But then you also got to look playoffs and all that stuff, looking at home field advantage and all. I mean,
think it gives them a serious home field advantage.
Oh, every week, week.
It's almost absurd how much.
It'd be different if they moved because remember there was talk about maybe a team going to Mexico. And the Jags were actually at the top of that conversation, too. It'd make more logistical sense for them to go to Mexico City or something than it does to go across the pond.
Move the Cowboys down to Mexico City.
Hey, you've got enough Hispanic Dallas Cowboy fans where I guess it would work.
Move a team into San Antonio just to piss off the Dallas fans.
I am down with that. I am down because I would rather go see a game in San Antonio than touch Fort Worth. Not Fort Worth. Let me rephrase that. Fort Worth guys, y'all are cool. Dallas, not so much. Not so much. All right, so those were your headlines for this week in football. First, Phil, let us talk about what hell of a game on Thursday. For the past few years, everybody has been complaining about Thursday night football games. They shouldn't be played. They're a waste of time. But every game we have had so far this year on Thursday night football has been a hell of a game. Let's see, last Thursday, not this past Thursday, what we're going to talk about, but the week before you had Mayfield making his debut.
Oh, yeah. So you had the first overall draft pick against the number 3, which is such a false thing. it's never really them against each other. It's against their defenses. But nonetheless, you had Cleveland going against New York Jets.
Yeah, exactly. You had two rookie quarterbacks going together. Who was going to make out? Mayfield ended up making it out because he
showed why he was the number one pick.
Exactly.
I mean, he looked good when he came.
And that's the thing that I say about Cleveland is I think Cleveland is going to surprise people because they actually have a good offensive line. Their defense has been picked up this year. Also, they're not going to go far even if they make a wild card, but they have a chance to do that in that division. It's a rough division.
Well, their defense is no joke either, though.
Exactly.
I mean, they're building that defense up pretty nice.
With the way the Steelers are looking with Big Ben, the fact that that Le'Veon Bell is about to be traded, Antonio Brown's upset about his handles. It's going Juju Smith-Schuster is looking more like the favorite for Ben Roethlisberger. Cleveland has a chance if Mayfield can do good and that defense can step up and be elite. They've got a chance to take that division.
So you think AB is out as Roethlisberger's favorite receiver, or at least this season?
It could change. It could change because then people are going to start doubling up on Juju and then somewhat leaving Antonio open. So I think it helps Antonio by letting Schuster get the receptions now, because then that'll take that pressure away from him later in the season.
I hope there aren't any defensive coordinators that are that naive to think that let's start doubling up Juju as opposed to AB.
But then of course you've got Ben Roethlisberger, and we'll go into Cleveland then. So back to Thursday Night Football. It's been a hell of a good 4 weeks so far of Thursday night. I am liking Fox's coverage of Thursday Night Football. It looks good. So let's talk about that game.
Goff went.
The
off,
Vikings lose 38-31. Goff has 465 yards and 5 touchdowns. He went off. Cousins had an all right game. He had 422 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had 4 carries of 28 yards. He was actually the rushing leader for that game. That's what's bad. You have Dalvin Cook, and Cousins is the leading rusher in that game with 4 carries and 28 yards. While on the other side, you had Todd Gurley with 17 carries and 83 yards. Plus, he had some receiving. He had over 183 total yards.
Goff?
No, Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley had basically 83 yards rushing
and 73 receiving.
Yeah, so you're talking about 156 yards total.
Yes, and then, like I said, Dalvin Cook, ladies and gentlemen.
What college did he come out of?
10 carries for 20 yards. He had an average of 2 yards a carry.
And he had one carry he had as long of 9 yards.
And that's Dalvin Cook. I think, look, Kirk Cousins is my fantasy quarterback. I have Cam Newton on the bench because of a bye. So I'm thinking Kirk Cousins, great, fantastic. Now, he did get me the points I needed to pretty much win this week, but I was expecting a little bit more cushion. And if Dalvin Cook had been able to rush, I think Cousins could have been able to do a little bit more.
One other thing to point out here, Jared Goff with his incredible night. No interceptions, 5 touchdowns, 465 yards. The man had a perfect, and I want to repeat, perfect QBR of 158.3 for the game. I mean, that was a great game. And if memory serves me right, he's basically he's a little less than 100 yards off of the most yards passed for in a single game.
Oh,
Beautiful game, Goff, and of course he was sitting on my bench in fantasy.
That Rams team, both sides are just beasts.
What about Cooper Kupp? I mean, 9 receptions, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
I take it you have Kupp also.
Had him on my team, drafted him as a rookie.
But he wasn't your keeper.
No, I redrafted him because he did very well for me last year.
So, if y'all have not watched a Thursday night football game, y'all need to check it out. They are really good. They're competitive. They are really making it worth watching now. I don't know if it's maybe the fact that they're on Fox, if that has something to do with it. But these teams, I guess it's good matchups. The time-wise of these matchups, it really fell in the hands of the cable networks that they're giving such good games. So again, Los Angeles Rams on Thursday beat the Minnesota Vikings 38-31. Los Angeles Rams are undefeated. They are 4-0, 3-0 at home. Minnesota Vikings slide down to 1-2-1. And that tie, before we go on, that may come back later in the season. Because that tie is based off of the horrible roughing the passer calls that are going on right now.
Absolutely.
That is a big game that affected that.
And the league is refusing to do anything about it right now. And this is after teams have protested it.
Well, here's my biggest thing.
The referees are complaining about it because they're even saying that this is not right. But
here's my biggest thing.
How the hell do you
when you have when you have quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers coming out against this rule, then they need to look at it. You got quarterbacks saying this is preposterous. And then you have an injury, which happened to one of your members on the Miami Dolphins.
Because
what was it?
William Hayes.
Ankle?
William Hayes, it was his knee.
It was his knee. Popped his knee out because he was trying to avoid landing all of his weight and getting one of those penalties, and now he's out for the season.
Yep.
That needs to be adjusted, and I can tell you right now, 2 ties to start the year, those are going to come back. If they come back into wild card play or seeding, there's going to be an issue.
Football is a violent sport. When you have 2 bodies hitting each other, yeah, there's going to be issues. How you're supposed to differentiate, between one single player and the other 21 on the field at any given time. Yeah, and you got to sit there. How you're going to sit there and you're going to hit a quarterback and then figure out a way to put him down softly or slowly. Because if you're going to sit there and do that, he's going to sit there and try and throw the ball away or get rid of the ball, whatever. But it is impossible or next to impossible to redistribute your weight when you're tackling somebody. At least to the point of what the NFL is expecting.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that rule affects this week's games. Starting off with tomorrow's games, let us talk about the Cincinnati Bengals going to Atlanta. Atlanta is 1-2. They're 1-1 at home. Cincinnati Bengals are 2-1. They're 1-1 away. Andy Dalton this year has 860 yards, 8 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. Matt Ryan has 897 yards, 7 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. What's interesting about this game, for one, Atlanta Falcons are coming in at a -4. Their defense is actually pretty battered. They haven't had great offense, except Ridley. The fact that Ridley's jumping up is pissing off a lot of Julio Jones fantasy people.
Yeah, but they're doubling up on Julio Jones.
They are.
So.
But I'm just saying, fantasy-wise, guys, give it a chance. Julio will get you his numbers.
Look, Ridley had his best. There's only been 3 games, okay?
Yeah.
First game, Ridley barely played. Second game, Ridley had 2 catches. And then this past game, he had 4 catches for 100 and something yards and 2 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. But he was averaging, I believe he was averaging around 20 something, 22, 20, 23 yards a a reception, maybe more. But nonetheless, I mean, I think Ridley's getting catches because Julio Jones has been double-teamed and been covered very well. He's also been kind of beat up.
It is. Look, this is a tough one for me because there's multiple things that come into this. If A.J. Green is healthy, because he's coming in he's questionable, but if he plays and he is healthy, the Bengals should be able to destroy the Falcons' defense. The Falcons lost a third starter, so their front line is already rough. You get A.J. Green healthy, it'll work. I mean, you're missing Joe Mixon, he's out. So of course, then you have Giovanni Bernard, who last week did a hell of a job. So you have that, which is good. Joe Mixon's good, but to have a backup and be able to have Giovanni Bernard there, it takes away the pain of losing Joe Mixon for 4 weeks.
Well, you also have surprising rookie Tyler Boyd playing some great ball for Cincinnati, too. So look for him to possibly do well against the banged-up Atlanta defense.
But then you look at the other side. If Ridley continues playing at this next level, and then you add Julio Jones into the mix,
and Mohamed Sanu,
Sanu, you can disrupt the defensive line, including Geno Atkins. So this is what's interesting. I don't really know who this can come out. Falcons have not looked that good. The Bengals have really surprised me this year. So with this one, I'm actually going to say the Bengals win, and I'm going to say it's going to be 30-27. I say it's about a touchdown game, a field goal game.
I'm taking Atlanta in Atlanta. I think Ridley's going to have another good game. I think look, if all you got to worry, and it's Geno Atkins is not the only guy you got to worry about on the Bengals defense. But you hold up, you put two guys on Atkins, you're going to gain some time. I think Matt Ryan has the moxie.
I mean, they are the fifth strongest offense in the NFL right now. So I mean, that does give you.
Atlanta's offense is too much for Cincinnati's defense. I think Falcons wind up winning it 31-21.
All right. Next game we're going to talk about is one that Phil has his heart and soul in. And that is the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots.
This is going to be a good game. You have the surprising Dolphins, who've already matched the total number of wins that ESPN predicted for them at 3-0, going up against a 1-2 Patriots team. And they're playing in New England. Now, Miami has not played New England or beaten New England in New England since I believe it was 96.
It's been a decade.
It's been more than a decade.
Yes.
But 96, and we need, who did the Patriots draft in the 6th round, 199th pick back in 96?
Yeah.
Yeah, time flies, huh? Anyway, so the last time that Brady lost 3 games in a row was 2002. So this is not something that happens very often. Brady, I think, is going to have a decent game. I really would love to see the Dolphins win this game. I don't know if they will, but I'll put it this way. Last week, Ryan Tannehill played his 16th game under Adam Gase. And this is, just basically pushing all the time together that he's played for Gase, or at least started games. Obviously, he's had Gase as a coach longer than that, but in that time, Tannehill has gone 11-5 under Gase. Those are the first 16 games they've played together.
Seeing how we're talking about Tannehill, this game is close between the quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill is sitting at 687 yards with 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Tom Brady is sitting at 644 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So these quarterbacks are actually neck and neck with each other. I have faith in Miami. This early in the season, in the way that we are seeing, and I wouldn't exactly call it a fall or a fall from grace, but it's getting there. Like you said, this is probably the biggest chance Miami really has to go into Foxborough in a long time and screw their whole plan up. I hope it happens.
Well, this team was built to beat the Patriots. I mean, this is what Gase has been vying for.
The Dolphins are coming into this game because they are going to Foxborough, and it is the Patriots, so they're coming in the game plus 6.5. But I mean, it's Tom freaking Brady. It's the Patriots. It's Foxborough. It doesn't matter who the hell you are. You're gonna go into Foxborough with a plus. It doesn't really matter. I mean, until that dynasty absolutely collapses, I mean that's what you're gonna get. So I'm going to say Dolphins win. I'm going to say 27-21.
Well, I am really going to be hoping the Dolphins can pull this game out. And I can see Miami doing this. They've lost Branch and they lost William Hayes. They're both out for this game. It just means that Miami is going to be having Cameron Wake and Robert Quinn coming up against Brady. They're just going to be out on the field more. Plus they got Fitzpatrick, who's going to be on Gronkowski. Miami, I figure, is going to probably double up Gronkowski like everyone's been doing and trying to shut him down. And I also believe that the teams that have beaten the Patriots have pulled out some kind of special play, and it would not surprise me to see Miami do that tomorrow. I'm going for the upset. Miami 31, New England 27, and a tight-ass game. But I really think Miami's got a good chance to pull this out. Tannehill has been playing incredible ball. If you look at the stats, Tannehill is actually, you look at QBR rating, if you just look at number of attempts, Tannehill is actually in the top 5 over the last 3 years in QBR. So I'm sticking with it. I'm going Miami.
All right. Next game is Philadelphia Eagles going to Tennessee. Tennessee, exactly.
Is that like
they're going to Tennessee. Now, the records are quite noticeable. They're both 2-1. But here's the key. This is what makes this so watchable. As Philadelphia Eagles are 0-1 away. Tennessee Titans are 1-0 at home. So they're going in to equal records of how they're playing. So that's going to be very, very, very fun to watch. So Carson Wentz is back. Philadelphia is coming in at a -3.5. Blaine Gabbert is out injured, so he's questionable, but we're most likely going to see Mariota back. Zach Ertz is beasting it up with 215 yards on 21 receptions. And then
he looked good testing that knee out last week.
He did.
I mean, he took 5 sacks and took like 6 quarterback hits, pivoted on that knee, and that knee looks like it's good to go.
The Eagles defense, I'm gonna have to go with Philly on this. The defending champions. That and I can't fucking stand Tennessee. everybody knows I live in Houston, and they used to be the Houston fucking Oilers, and they left, and we lost the Oilers.
How much you love the Eagles, too.
Oh, God, I can't stand the Eagles. My sister-in-law loves the Eagles, and I'm afraid my nephew's going to start watching the Eagles soon. Of course, my nephew really likes Tom Brady. Well, the only reason why he likes Tom Brady is one of his best friends' name is Brady.
Oh, there's a good reason to like him.
You know, he's 6. You know.
I don't care.
Eventually, we're gonna get him in that Texans jersey. If it's Texas,
You haven't sent him a Texans jersey yet?
No,
what,
yes,
what
I
is
have.
wrong with you?
But his dad is a Cowboys fan.
So you got problems on both sides.
Yes, I do. So I'm going to take Philly. I'm going to take Philly 23, Titans 17.
I like I like the way Wentz came back last week. Plus, he's getting Alshon Jeffrey back. It's going to give him another target. How well Alshon Jeffrey does in his first week back, we shall see. I'm taking the Eagles. I think the Eagles actually can win this game by 2 scores at least. Let's go 24-14, Eagles.
All right, next game. Dallas is hosting the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are coming in 1-2, and Dallas Cowboys are also coming 1-2, which these two teams also, Detroit Lions are 0-1 away, and Dallas Cowboys are 1-0 at home.
Detroit's coming off a huge win.
They are coming off a gigantic win, but they are also coming into this game +3, and most of that is because that they're playing.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason they're +3. Yeah, I mean, this is really a pick'em game.
It is. It is, and I'm gonna actually pick Detroit. There's a lot of unknowns right now in Dallas. The biggest thing is what is Dak Prescott? I have told this to numerous of my Cowboy friends, and I've been explaining this even when DeMarco Murray was on the team. That offensive line that they had created DeMarco Murray.
And Ezekiel.
That offensive line is helping make Ezekiel. The thing that I have different with Ezekiel and DeMarco Murray, Ezekiel has that skill, the body frame to be able to plow down and get his yards. Does it help that he had last year in the great offensive line? Yes, but that offensive line isn't what it used to be. Dak Prescott is showing that. For one, you also got rid of you got rid of one. The other one decided to retire, but you got rid of Dez Bryant, which to me you should never have. With certain players, yes, their attitude is a lot, but for certain players with certain kind of skill sets and stardom, you deal with it. You deal with it. You shut him up. I mean, even Jerry Jones, they put a guy on Dez Bryant to keep him out of trouble, to, kind of back him off. You keep that man. Now y'all have no receiving line. So the only way y'all are gonna win, and the only way that you can get Dak Prescott to be able to play even a remote sense of what he did last year is you got to run the rock. You've got to put it in Ezekiel Elliott's hands and let him take it down. Because if you're not using the run game, Dak is going to get destroyed. You've got to have the defense scared of the run game. So if you don't, you're not going to get it. Because they're using Ezekiel Elliott now more as a receiver than a running back right now. Which is good. I mean, I've got him in 2 of my leagues, which I'm fine with, because they're PPR leagues. But if you're trying to win a game, you use him to run it. You need to go out, and it's not going to happen. But you need to go out and you need to pick up a Dez Bryant type player, and Dez ain't coming back to Dallas. So, long story short, I'm going to make this short. I think Detroit wins, and I think they actually do it a lot more handedly than people say they are. I'm going to go Detroit Lions 27, Cowboys 14.
Yeah, they're playing in Dallas. I think Dallas's defense is okay. I don't think it's great. I think Detroit's wide receiver core is going to run roughshod on them.
Yes. Galladay is
Galladay's been incredible.
absolutely. And
Well,
what? I think Marvin Jones is on the injury report too, isn't he?
No, I don't believe
No,
so.
he's not. Golden Tate is. I knew a wide receiver was. Golden Tate is questionable.
Okay, well, yeah, they got Marvin Jones and they got Galladay, and even if Tate makes an appearance, I mean that's still going to demand
Yes.
coverage. Plus, their running back last week, had a hell of a game. Carrion Johnson.
Yep.
I mean, 29 rushes, 161 yards, no touchdowns yet this year, but still, he ran like a beast last week. Long story short,
101 yards last week on 16 attempts.
if the Lions, and I think the Lions did a hell of a job on defense last
Oh,
week.
Patricia schooled his former master.
Basically, you're going to have to – Detroit gets out to a lead, and they make Dallas have to pass the ball. Detroit wins this game. I'm thinking like 24-20.
So you're going Detroit also?
I'm going Detroit also. It might be 27-20, but I think Detroit wins this with their passing game and probably a good mix with the run too. But the passing game is what's going to win the game for Detroit.
I agree. Dallas. In order for Dallas to come out, they've got to do the running game first. They have got to pound the rock first and then try to open it up. The problem is like you said, if Detroit comes out on defense first and pushes them back and they get that touchdown back, you're not going to see as much running because now Dak Prescott is having to play from behind. Next game we're going to talk about is New York Jets take on Jacksonville in Jacksonville. So New York Jets are 1-2, and Jacksonville is 2-1. They're both 1-1 away, both 1-1 at home.
Jacksonville is licking its chops.
Jacksonville is coming in at a -7.5. I think that actually should be more. Sam Darnold, Thursday Night Football kind of showed me that there are weaknesses in that offensive line. He is still a rookie. I think Mayfield showed that in a way he is better.
Well, let me ask you a question.
We are looking at Darnold, who is sitting at 701 yards with 3 touchdowns, but he has 3 touchdowns compared to 5 interceptions.
What was the big knock on Darnold coming out of college, though?
Yes.
He turned the ball over quite a bit, and that wasn't just interceptions. He fumbled quite a bit, too.
I really think that the spread should be higher because, like you said, I think Jacksonville is absolutely licking their chops at a rookie quarterback. You're going to have the safeties, all that coming in. I think you're going to see a lot more blitzes than you've really seen on Darnold lately. I just don't see them being able to get off to a good enough start to keep it going. I mean, you have Isaiah Crowell, but he's getting a workload. I mean, he can perform though, but it's Darnold really also doesn't have the receiving core.
Anua?
I mean, you got Anua, and that's kind of really.
Well, you got Anderson also, but that's.
It's just going up against that secondary of Jacksonville is an absolute beast. So my prediction is actually going to be Jaguars 30, Jets 17.
Okay. I think Ramsey, I'm going to make a prediction, whether it comes true or not, and I probably shouldn't be making predictions, but I think Ramsey probably gets
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
I think, but I mean, I'm talking player-wise.
Uh-huh.
I can see Ramsey getting 2 picks at least off of Darnold. I think Darnold gets flustered easily. You know, you get Calais Campbell running in there, and you get some of those big uglies they got down in Jacksonville putting pressure on him. He's going to panic, and he's going to make some poor decisions, I think. I don't think this game is going to be all that close. I think Jacksonville wins this probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 27-10, maybe 27-7. I don't think New York puts up that many points on Jacksonville's
I say
defense.
the most they're going to get is 2 touchdowns. And the only reason I can say they get more is if you see Blake Bortles do Blake Bortles things, and somehow the Jets are able to get a pick or get that ball back for an extra drive or something. I just see that defense just destroying them.
And it helps that Fournette's coming back for the Jaguars, which will open the passing game up for him.
All right, next game, Buffalo Bills at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 1-1-1, and we just talked about it a little earlier. They're 1-1-1 because of the Minnesota game. And Buffalo Bills are 1-2. Buffalo Bills coming off an incredible upset against the Vikings. Now, the interesting thing about Green Bay is, for one, you have their best defender in Clay Matthews coming in with three personal fouls of roughing the passer in 3 games, all because of how he's falling.
It's absurd.
It's absolutely absurd.
What they've called is absolutely absurd. And the referees basically took the Green Bay Packers should not be 1-1-1.
No,
I mean, it really should be at least 2-1, if that. You could even make a case for them potentially being 3-0.
You could. I mean, look, that Minnesota game, that call really screwed both sides. Really screwed both sides.
Well, the other question though is okay, after what happened to Minnesota this past Thursday, was the Buffalo win just was it that impressive, or did Buffalo come in there and just really put it to them, or is Minnesota just not that good of a team?
No, I just think they have an extremely, extremely overpaid quarterback. So when we look at Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers, I give Green Bay just rough shot over them, especially if Aaron Rodgers plays. And the reason why I say if is I would use this game. You're 1-1-1. It's still early in the season. You need to keep Rodgers healthy. It's against the Buffalo Bills. You've got a good staff. I'd bench him. You're early enough in the season. Yeah, Buffalo's coming off a big game, but even Rodgers is worried. He's come out in interviews worried about the strength of that knee. I'm sorry. I'd sit him. I would sit Rodgers. If you lose, you lose. You give him an extra week of rest. Maybe that knee comes back next week and he can continue playing for the rest of the season. One thing goes wrong with that knee. Do you really want Aaron Rodgers getting injured, season-ending injury against Buffalo? Okay,
so then basically you have a rookie quarterback in Josh Allen going against a pretty decent Packers defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would mean you'd have Deshaun Kaiser going up against Buffalo's D, and Buffalo drafted Edmonds out of Virginia Tech, the linebacker, this past draft. I still think, being that it's in Green Bay, there's something magical about Lambeau for Green Bay. The point spread, I believe, is Green Bay is -10. I believe the Packers still win this game. I don't think they're going to bench Rodgers.
I don't think they are. I just think it would be smart to. I don't think they are because, for one, his competitive level in himself, he won't. I just think that if you were a team with it being only week 4, I would. He got injured in the first week. You let him sit this week and see what he does.
Keep this in mind also, though. Green Bay's not going to have to rely on the pass. I mean, they're gonna throw the ball, but they also got Aaron Jones back, who looks like he's going to be taking up a lot of the carries for Green Bay, and that's gonna take a little onus off of Rodgers. I think Green Bay still wins this game, and I think the 10-point spread, I'd take it. I think Green Bay could wind up. Well, you know what? I'd take that back. Buffalo has been playing decent enough. Green Bay's going to win this game. It's just a matter of, will they cover the 10? I'd say it's a push at 10. Let's go 31-21. Green Bay.
I'm going to go 28. 19.
28-19.
Yes. Oh, 28-19 Green Bay. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The only time I would have, I don't even know if I'm actually ever going to really go for Buffalo, but I could have made a lot of money if I went with them last week.
Oh, how many people died in suicide leagues?
Oh.
Come on. You know people were sitting there going, oh, Minnesota, Buffalo? Oh, yeah. That's a for sure. We're going to go ahead and, ka-ching. Yeah, Minnesota over Buffalo, and how many leagues had to restart because of that?
Yeah. All right, next game we got is Tampa Bay at Chicago. Tampa Bay is 2-1. Chicago is 2-1. Tampa Bay has Fitzmagic, which we saw fizzle down a little bit. He came back at the end of the game to make it a close game, but we see some of that Fitzmagic actually be true Fitzpatrick magic, which means he has hella good games and then he has hella horrible games. But passing yard wise, he's destroying his competition. Fitzpatrick is at 1,230 yards with 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's going up against Trubisky with only 591 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So this is going to be an interesting game. Mike Evans, 367 yards and 3 touchdowns already compared to Allen Robinson, 17 receptions for 194 yards. You know, there's not a lot on the injury report. Nothing truly major. We have some cornerbacks that are out on both sides. You are in Soldier Field. So that's one reason why we give Chicago the heads up on this. Plus, we're kind of seeing a little bit of what Fitzpatrick is going on. But then also you've got to remember Fitzpatrick now. Yes, he has been balling. He has been balling.
1,230 yards in the season already?
But now he's got to think, and he has that little bug on his shoulder where if he goes through a game and throws 4 interceptions like he is shown to do in the past after good games, guess what? Jameis Winston's coming back in. If he plays good, if he keeps playing good, he's going to stay in that starting spot. But if he pulls Fitzpatrick Houston Texans Fitzpatrick crap, there's a good chance he could lose that spot. And so that's going on in his head now. So that's going to be very interesting because for the first 3 weeks, he had nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Jameis was gone. Had nothing to worry about. Now Jameis is back. And now you got a little bit of a controversy.
Meh.
Okay. So, but I do believe.
You got to look at Jameis and go, what have you done for me lately other than sit on the bench?
Well,
and be suspended for 3
agree.
games?
But you've seen, you're able to see what he can produce. And then if you've got a quarterback that, yes, he produced great, but then all of a sudden he goes and throws a four interception game, then you do look at it and say, wait a second, have we seen the best out of Fitzpatrick? So this carries a lot into the future of the quarterback position for Tampa Bay, and I think the Bears actually come out on top against Tampa Bay. For one, it helps that they're in Soldier Field. It also helps that you're going up against Fitzpatrick with Khalil Mack. I mean, Khalil Mack is beasting the fuck up. He's got 10 sacks. He's made the Bears defense one of the top defenses in the league because of his play. Not anybody else, but his play. He can get after that quarterback. You're a moron, John Gruden. An absolute moron. You are the reason Chicago is looking this good. So I say, you made a prediction on Ramsey? I'm going to make a prediction with Mack. I say he gets to the quarterback. I say 4 sacks. 4 sacks. I give him 4 sacks. All right, and I give the Bears I'm going to go 26. Let's go 26-20. I say Bears win 26-20. And Mack has 4 sacks.
Well, I think it's going to be tough enough playing in Chicago. You're starting to get that fall weather, or at least you should start to be getting the fall weather a little bit, which is probably going to be the saving graces because it's early fall. Fitzpatrick, I don't think he does well under a lot of pressure, which the Steelers were able to do last week. But nonetheless, you still got Deshaun Jackson. You got Mike Evans. You got O.J. Howard, the tight end. And I think it's going to be a close game. This game could even go to overtime. I'll put it that way. I'm going to go ahead and I think the Bears will pull it out, mainly because I think the Bears defense, like you said, Khalil Mack's been playing insane. And I think he probably will get his sacks on Fitzpatrick. The thing is Trubisky, I think his numbers kind of lie a little bit because he's got a 69.2% completion rate, but most of those passes are like real short. They're little dink and dunk passes. But let's go Chicago. I think it's just going to be really tight. 24-21 Chicago.
All right, next game we have is the Cleveland Browns at the Oakland Raiders. The Cleveland Browns are 1-1-1, and again, congratulations, Cleveland, for getting your first win of the season. Oakland are 0-3, and we just talked about the screw-ups that their new $100 million coach made. He jokes about it. He doesn't want to come out about it, but they screwed up. When your offense is always really had issues. Your defense is defense because of Khalil Mack, and now y'all have no pass rush whatsoever, and you gave away the best pass rusher in the league.
I think you gave away probably one of the top 2-3 defensive players.
Absolutely,
in the league.
I agree. And so
they didn't really give him away because they did get a pretty decent ransom.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm giving this game. I'm not gonna go huge into scores, points, and numbers right now because I'm gonna let you know right now. I think the Browns win. I think Mayfield outshines Derek Carr. You got Carlos Hyde, who is absolutely beasting it up carry-wise, which is good. Then you got Jarvis Landry, who's beasting it up on the receiving side also. I mean, you do have Jared Cook, who's doing good for Oakland. You have Marshawn Lynch, who's always just a beast. But you've got a quarterback who knows how to move to get what he needs to do. He's going to be playing his first start, so he's going to have he's going to be fiery and everything. And then, like I just said, you lost your pass rush. Y'all are getting destroyed because y'all have no pass rush. Gruden's being asked nonstop about a pass rush, and he's kind of joking, well, there's no one in our league. Of course, because you gave away your best option. I don't think that this is going to be a huge spread, but I do believe the Browns will win. Let's go 27-21, 27-20, 27-21.
I think it's kind of surprising that, for a team that has Amari Cooper amongst other wide receivers, that your tight end is your team leader in receiving yards and receptions. Oakland is definitely a first half team. They're not a fourth quarter team in any way, shape, or form. Mayfield has jumped out in one half of play and looked pretty darn good. I just kind of get an idea for some reason. This is going to be a tight. This is going to just be a really tight game. It's almost really hard to call, but I kind of want to say the Raiders are -3, and that's only because they're at home. I kind of want to say the Raiders are going to win their first game, but my heart of hearts says the Browns win this, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a shootout. Probably like something like 31-30.
Okay. All right, next game. Because we are running out of time. Next game is going to be Seattle Seahawks and Arizona. Seattle Seahawks are 1-2. They just got their first victory last week against the Dallas Cowboys. Then you have the 0-3 Arizona Cardinals. Now, Arizona has said Josh Rosen will be starting
over
Sam Bradford.
Who?
Which should, I don't know how the man is Jeff Fisher of a quarterback. And I'm not going to, we don't have time.
Lewis?
We don't have time. Okay. So, no, I'll even give Marvin Lewis more respect.
Oh, damn.
Okay? Sam Bradford has been a waste. He was always a waste, even at OU. But enough about that. We're running out of time. So I'm kind of conflicted with this. You've got you've got a rookie quarterback. You do have the Arizona Cardinals. You have David Johnson, who really hasn't been doing a lot, but he could get a break, especially against this broken Seattle defense. You do have Doug Baldwin coming back. Pete Carroll has said Doug Baldwin will play. So now Russell Wilson does have that extra receiver to go alongside Lockett. CJ Prosise is out. Larry Fitzgerald for Arizona is questionable. This is rough for me. I understand that Seattle is coming in -3, but what do we always say with those winless teams? They've got nothing to lose, so they're gonna be playing harder. You've got a rookie quarterback. I think that offensive line can protect him. I think he's more evasive than Sam Bradford has ever been in his life. I think they have a chance. I think Seattle does come away with the victory, but I'm actually going to say this is a low-scoring game because both teams are having issues on both sides of the ball. I'm going to say that doesn't even get in the 20s. I say this is a 17-14 game, and Seattle wins it.
If they're going to start Rosen, I'm going to be real curious how he handles that huddle. Now, they do have Christian Kirk. They got David Johnson. Christian Kirk has been looking really good as a rookie receiver so far. 12 receptions, 121 yards. Yet to see the end zone, but still good upside for Arizona. It's in Arizona. You gotta like Seattle.
What's your score?
But a close game, 17-14. I'm going to say Arizona pulls it out at home. They have no business pulling this game out, but I think Arizona is going to pull it out at home with the rookie quarterback.
So pretty much you and me have the same score, just different teams. 17-14.
Yeah.
Okay. 17-14.
It's going to be a tight game.
It is.
It
I
could
agree.
go either way.
I agree. It's both teams have some issues, and that's why I think it's going to be low scoring, and I agree with that. Next one, we have New Orleans Saints visiting the New York Giants. The Saints are 2-1. New York Giants are 1-2. Yeah. Fuck y'all. We gave you y'all's victory last week. Enough of that. Drew Brees coming in with 1078 yards with 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. Eli Manning, 800 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm not even really going to go into this. You've got Breeze, you've got Kamara, you've got Thomas against a horrible offensive line. Yes, they beat the Texans, but guess what? Even as a Texans fan, Giants fans, you beat the Texans. Our offensive line is worse than y'all, okay? I do not see y'all. Even though you're playing in New York, coming off this win, I still see Drew Brees going long on y'all. Let's see, is Eli Apple. Eli Apple is not playing. Olivier Vernon is not playing. So those are, your best cornerback is out and your best linebacker is out. Then you've got Jonathan Stewart, your backup running back. He's on IR. Yeah, I'd say Drew Brees throws for at least 4 touchdowns. I say this game is 35-20. I do not think you're going to see the Giants coming back. I do not think that they're a good team. They played a horrible Texans team last week. You're playing a great quarterback in Drew Brees without your number 1 cornerback. You look at how Michael Thomas has been going. 38 receptions. He's 2 yards shy of 400 yards. That's 100 yards a week with 3 touchdowns compared to Odell Beckham, 24 receptions for 271. Then you got Kamara. Yes, Barkley is doing great. He's got 216 yards on 46 carries, but he's not Kamara. Kamara is a beast. Barkley's getting there, but your offensive line is still horrid. I say, like I said, it's 35-20. That is my score.
I think Saquon Barkley keeps New York in this game a little bit. If Breeze gets hot and starts throwing a ton of passes and starts connecting, it's over. I mean, Saints are going to wind up blowing out the Giants. I think Saints defense is just slightly better than the Giants. The Saints are not all that great on defense this year. Tight game. I'm going to say Saints wind up pulling this out 31-27. Unless Breeze gets hot and just, then Giants are going to have to pass, and I don't think their passing game is enough to keep up with Breeze.
All right, next game, San Francisco 49ers, 1-2, going to Los Angeles. So they are staying in the state. They're going to see the Chargers, who are both 1-2. Here's the thing that gives me the Chargers straight up. Again, another game where I really don't have to look at a lot. You've got Phillip Rivers, who is playing extraordinarily well. I feel bad for Rivers because he is a great quarterback. It's just his supporting cast never stays healthy and all that. He should be in that elite conversation. I do believe he has the skill for that, but he has never had the weapons stay healthy enough for him to get to that level. Then you got the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is gone, out, done. You got Beathard coming in. Straight up, not going to happen. You've got Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen versus, what was his name?
What, C.J. Beathard?
Yes, Beathard, Breida, and Kittle. You're just not going to be able to compare with Gordon, Rivers, and Allen. So I say...
Don't forget, you also got Melvin Gordon, and you also have Eckler.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's you got Travis Benjamin, who's questionable, so he could be playing. You just have too many weapons, and you do not have a quarterback now that can come back under the pressure and be able to put some points up. So the spread is Chargers coming in at 10-5. I say they beat the spread. I'm going to say that this is Los Angeles Chargers get on a roll. I say that they go 31. San Francisco, I'm going to give you 13.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to be a little more generous with San Fran. I think you got the 31 for the Chargers, correct? Even without Joey Bosa, Chargers are going to have their defense is going to be better than is better than what San Fran has. 31-14, my opinion on this game. I just don't think Beathard is going to be able to do it.
I agree. Next game we're going to go to, this is a big divisional game on Monday night. No.
Sunday night.
Tomorrow night. And that is the Baltimore Ravens going to Pittsburgh, who are 1-1 against Baltimore Ravens, who are 2-1. This is going to be a hell of a game. It is always a huge division rivalry. You got Ben Roethlisberger throwing for 1,140, 7 touchdowns with 4 interceptions compared to 889, 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions from Flacco.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
I really do. I think this actually can be. They usually play each other very well. Pittsburgh is pissed. They're pissed that people are going into their locker room and talking about their locker room. They're pissed off with having to trade Bell because Bell doesn't want to play the money ball that they do.
That's for another time.
It is. I say Pittsburgh wins this, but I say it's close. I'm going to say this is going to be 31-28 for Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Because of the run game. That's where I really go when it comes to this. For one, you got Brown and Schuster. I mean, you've got that. But then the way James Conner has come up and pretty much told Le'Veon Bell, I've got your job now. I just think, Terrell Suggs, for one, is questionable. Terrell Suggs doesn't play. That just opens a whole lot more of offense for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the thing with the Ravens, their defense, they don't just lose somebody; they reload. I mean,
that is true.
They have great depth, but nonetheless, I don't think Baltimore is going to quite get it done in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to wind up pulling us out in a tight game Probably like a 31-28 game, maybe a 27-24 game. But Pittsburgh pulls this out by the skin of their teeth.
All right, next game. Kansas City Chiefs, who are 3-0, another division rivalry, going to the Mile High Stadium in the Denver Broncos, who are 2-1. This, I can talk a little bit more, I guess. We're running out of time. You got Case Keenum going up against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to say, wins that competition outright. I mean, just straight outright. But here's the thing. I say KC wins this. I say it's not a blowout, but I'm going to say this is going to go about 24-18. Say Kansas City. Oh, no, hold on. I'm thinking about Mahomes. No, this is going to be more like a 35-21 game. Mahomes is going to go off, but here's my prediction. I also think with Von Miller and everything, I say he throws his first interception. They're going to win. He's going to score those touchdowns, but I say he throws his first interception.
Okay. I think actually Kansas City's probably going to be looking at their run game a little more in this. I think you could see Kareem Hunt having a heck of a game in this. Mahomes is going to definitely be under pressure with Chubb and.
That's right. I forgot about Chubb. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Chubb and.
Von Miller.
And you got Miller sitting there. Chiefs are going to pull this game out. I think it's going to be a little closer than people are going to give it credit for. Let's go 35-28. 35-28, 35-30.
Do you think he throws an interception?
Mahomes?
Yes. He's due for one. That's what I'm saying.
It's possible. Yeah, hey, it's always possible. Does he throw one? No. No,
okay.
He does not.
All right. So, last game we are going to talk about.
Who could that be?
Yeah, who can that be? Houston Texans going to Indianapolis. Yes, and I will say it again. Houston Texans sitting at 0-3, going to the 1-2 Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis is amazingly, this is the smallest spread of all games coming this week, and that is Indianapolis is coming in -1. That's it. That's the spread. 1 point spread. Okay?
In Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis. Because
we have been 1.5 point spread.
Because we have been able
home.
to beat them. Yes.
That's sad. That's truly sad.
Well, here's the thing. If you look, the only difference between these two quarterbacks are their yardage. Deshaun Watson is sitting at 871, and Andrew Luck is sitting at 662. The similarities are each have 5 touchdowns, each have 3 interceptions. When it comes to injuries, major injuries is Bruce Ellington, wide receiver, has been placed on IR. Linebacker Dylan Cole has been placed on IR. DeAndre Hopkins is coming in questionable with a foot, thumb, and hand. But of course, we also have Fuller in case we need to use that.
Fuller's looked good this year.
He has,
despite the rest of them.
I'm not going to go hugely into this game, even though it is the Texans. I'm not going to go hugely into this because we are 0-3 and we don't have a lot to show. But we do have J.J. Watt, who was a beast last week with 3 sacks. So maybe J.J. Watt is coming back up with. And here's the biggest thing about J.J. Watt, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to get to that. Here's the thing with J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt's a beast. I'm not looking for him to be that 2015 beast. I need him to be 75 to half of that so he takes the pressure off of Merciless, Clowney, DJ Reader. What I'm upset about lately is you have not seen really anything from Merciless and you have not seen anything from Clowney. I'm hoping after last week with his 3 sacks, he's boosted up that momentum. Now people are going to be double teaming him, looking at him. Maybe that opens it up for Merciless and Clowney. And let me tell y'all guys, the Colts offensive line is still shit. One good hit, I don't advocate injuring, but one good hit on Luck on the right side, he could be out.
So what is Merciless just having trouble coming back from the injury?
I think so. I think he's still got rust.
So you think he's still got some rust to break off?
Yes.
Personally, I just don't think the Colts are that good of a team.
I don't either.
I think this game for the Texans is a must-win.
It is.
I think if they want to try and turn their season around, this is a game they need to win. I like Houston's pass rush over Indianapolis's offensive line by far.
Oh yes, and their defense. Even though we have a horrible offensive line, I don't think they have a strong enough defense to really destroy our offensive line the way we can theirs.
I don't know how many points are really going to be scored in this game. I don't think either offense right now is really lighting it up. And like I said, I think Houston's pass rush is going to make Luck have a really nasty game. But I'm going to say the Texans go ahead and get their first win. It's not going to be by much, but they're going to pull this win out, and it's going to be something like a 21-17 game, I think.
See, I was just about to call that. I say Houston does win, but I say it's going to be a 21-14, 21-17 game. I give them 3 touchdowns because you have Fuller, and if Hopkins is healthy, you got Hopkins coming in if he comes in healthy because he loves those corner end zone.
Hopkins makes all the difference for the Texans in this game.
I do think Lamar Miller can have a good game against that defense on the running game.
If Hopkins can't go, I would say look for Fuller to get several opportunities.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my E4 Mafia, that is going to be it. You can hit me up on Twitter at the original JRei, and you can hit Ferocious Phil at Philip Palizzi 1. You can also hit up E4 Media. You can also hit up E4 Medias at E_4 Sports. Also, correction, Ferocious Phil's Twitter is at Philip.Palizzi1. That's Philip.Palizzi1. Hooah!